Welcome to Night Talk. I'm David Viscott, and this is all live, and you still can get in. So if you get on the phone and you dial the number, well, you may be able to talk to me. I certainly would love to. Who do we have?
Okay, we've gotten a lot more calls coming in for this last hour.
I should say, they're all different than the ones that were up there.
I know. I have Nicole right now. She's on line 7, and she's repulsed by her husband.
Line 7.
7.
Almost any of these calls, you could find a woman who's repulsed by her husband. How old are you, Nicole?
I'm 23.
What's wrong?
My husband recently left me for another woman.
That's the reason, huh?
And we've gotten back together and are trying to work everything out. But when it comes to sexual relations, I can't be intimate with him.
Well, you haven't forgiven him.
No, not at all.
Not at all. So why even discuss that unless you discuss forgiving him? I mean, isn't that what it's about?
Yeah. The reason I was calling is every little thing that reminds me of him and this other woman, it creates such rage.
Oh, sure. That's you haven't forgiven him. That's all this is. Let me explain how forgiveness works, okay?
Okay.
All right. When you experience hurt, if you don't express the hurt, it turns into anger.
Uh-huh.
If you don't let the anger out, it turns into guilt because it gets directed at you.
Uh-huh.
Now, a lot of people who have anger after being injured, instead of letting go of the hurt, keep the hurt alive as an excuse for being angry at the other person. They remember how the other person hurt them over and over again. And when they do, they get angry, they turn around and they blow up at the other person, and they're still collecting evidence to prove that they are justified in being angry.
Uh-huh.
Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
So you have a little bit of an upset and you say, damn it, and you blow up over nothing, and the other person who's trying hard to be good now doesn't know where to go with this because they feel guilty over what they've done wrong. They want to make good on it, but somehow or other they feel that their nose is being rubbed in it constantly.
Uh-huh.
To forgive another person means you say, I no longer hurt from what you did to me. That's what forgiveness is. Think about it. Think of someone that you really hurt, okay?
Uh-huh.
You too. Think of someone you really hurt in your life while we're talking about this. Just put yourself in that place. Someone you really injured, okay? You're thinking of that person?
Yeah.
Imagine the telephone rings and it's that person, and the person says, you know how you hurt me? I no longer hurt. Wouldn't it feel great?
Yeah, it would.
Right. That's what's missing in your relationship, because you cannot love someone you're angry at. The anger has first rights.
Okay.
All right, so you're not going to let your husband close to you. It's going to be repulsive. You're not repulsed by your husband. You're repulsed by the memory.
Right.
You're repulsed by the anger.
I imagine him with the other woman.
And what you need to do is you need to sit down with him and tell him, and you say, look, I want to spend a little bit of time with you, and I want to tell you how I hurt over what you did. I see that woman, I see this, and you just got to listen to everything in my heart and let it out. And an hour of your tirading and ranting and how badly you hurt and how you went through the whole thing. Come from as much hurt as you can, not from the anger, okay?
Okay.
And at the end say, I want to let go of all this hurt. I want to forgive you. You're forgiven.
Okay.
Okay? And then when it comes up, remind yourself that you've forgiven him.
Okay.
And if he does it again, break his neck.
That's for sure.
I mean, is he feeling better about it, that he's not going to do it?
We're both really trying really hard.
You may need to sit in for some short-term counseling with a brief couple therapy might work for you, too.
Yeah.
Because you've had a terrific renting apart, and whenever that happens, it's good to have someone to help pull it back together again.
Okay.
Okay, Nicole.
Thanks a lot.
Take care. Who's next?
Okay, we have Susan on line 6, and she has a question about her dreams.
Susan.
Hello?
Hi, Susan.
Hi,
How old are you?
17.
Can you speak up, please?
Okay.
Okay.
But,
Your dreams?
well, no, well, okay, I broke up with my boyfriend, like, last May, and, I don't know if, I mean, I'm always having dreams of him, you know, and I wonder, I mean, I'm always missing him and everything. I wonder, what should I do? I mean, I don't know, should I call him or should I send him a letter or...
Why did you break up with him?
Well, first of all, I just like I want to turn on the TV so my mom won't hear.
Okay, we got to turn that down. Shh, we don't want Mom to hear any of this.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I broke up with him. First of all, I told him that as an excuse that I needed more time for my studying and everything like
But
that.
why did you break up with him? The real reason.
Well, we really didn't want to. I just told him that just to see how...
Yeah, but why'd you break up with him?
Why?
Yeah, why? The real reason.
I guess I felt like I was just too tied up.
You didn't want to be with one person.
Well, no, it's just that he used to call all the time.
Okay, so the reason that you didn't want to be with him is you felt he was controlling you.
And no, all around. He thought I was controlling him. He said that,
But
well, after we broke up, I heard that he told,
what he feels doesn't matter. The reason you broke up with him, he's kept on calling you all the time, smothering you, wrapping you up, and you felt you weren't free.
Yeah, and that's the way he felt too, sort of.
Well, put his feelings aside. It was wrong for you, right?
Well, I don't think so. I mean,
Then why did you break up?
I just wanted to see how his reaction would be, but I didn't really meant it.
Well, that's called playing games. Now, if you, in other words, you didn't think he really cared?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
so
know,
that's
whenever he would tell me that that he loved me or anything, I would just tell him to be quiet because I didn't want to hear any lies or anything like that.
Well, wait a second. Is that true? That you didn't want to hear any lies?
Yeah, I thought he was
So
lying.
you didn't believe in him?
No.
And what you were doing is you were testing him.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what was his reaction to breaking up with him?
He didn't want to. He was like, why? You know, he just didn't want to until like a week later. And then I told him, well, if you really love me, you'll accept it. And then he said, okay. You know, he had no
Susan,
choice.
Susan,
You know?
Susan.
What? I know I'm very unconfident. I'm not confident, you know.
Susan, it's more than that. You play games.
Did he feel that too, probably?
Of course, and he resented you for it, because you hurt him.
Probably he really didn't love me.
Probably he didn't, but that doesn't justify you playing games. If you felt he didn't love you, the thing you say to him is, you know something, this relationship isn't working for me, and I don't want to be in it anymore. That's it. Thank you.
The thing is, I did love him.
Then why did you play games?
I don't know.
Susan, you're 17 years old, and relationships at this time in life largely are to discover what life is about. But at 17, you're already supposed to be a little more serious. You're behaving like a 15-year-old.
Yeah, and he's been showing things like I just asked him if he can come over my birthday party. He just came over in 5 minutes. I mean, and he usually doesn't. You know, he usually doesn't go just anywhere or to anybody's.
Susan, may I be really honest?
What?
May I be really honest?
Am I honest?
I'm asking you if you're going to permit me to be really honest.
Yeah.
You're very immature.
Yeah.
Yeah, honest to goodness. Under immature in the dictionary is your picture.
So it was my fault.
It isn't a matter of it being your fault. You were scared. You were unsure. You were frightened. You were in over your head. This was a love relationship. You didn't know what you wanted. So you decided to make it his problem. So you played games with him. You wanted to be in the relationship and you wanted to be out of the relationship. You wanted him to love you. You wanted him to prove that he loved you more. You didn't love him. You thought you weren't sure whether you really loved him. It goes a million ways. Every question that you have about him, you see, was a question about yourself. So you were using the relationship to answer questions about yourself. But that's what it's like when you're 15 or 16. But Susan, you're getting older now, and you're hurting other people's feelings.
But should I just let it go?
Well, you should send him a note telling him that you've grown up a little bit and you realize that you were just playing with him and using him, and you hurt his feelings, and you want to apologize for being so childish.
But
And
it's been 10 months already.
Susan, what did I just say?
I mean, he might think
You're the one who's calling me, and what do you care what he thinks? You're apologizing to him for hurting him. That letter is appropriate for the next 25 years. Why don't you write it to him tomorrow? You're sorry for using him, taking advantage of him, and for being so unfeeling, and for hurting his feelings and not caring about the way he reacted. You'll feel a lot better doing it, and what's more, the process of growing up will have truly started. You got to grow up sometime, but you want me to tell you what growing up is about? Growing up is about telling the truth, even when it doesn't flatter you. You accept your faults. You realize that you're a good person, and you say, I have strengths and I have weaknesses, and the truth is that your strength and your weakness are both part of the same traits. If you're a person who is proud of being honest all the time, your weakness is your dishonesty, and your strength is not being honest all the time, but being aware of the times when you're not honest. We'll be right back. David Viscott, we have a call that's very disturbing coming up. What is this?
Okay, her name is Rena, and she's on line B. She's 11 years old and needs some help.
Rena? Rena?
Yes,
You're 11?
yes.
Where are you now?
I'm living with the family.
With a family?
Yes.
How long you been with them?
About 6 months.
Okay, tell me what's going on.
Well, I got molested, and I've never told anybody but my mom a couple years ago. And it was real shocking to her. She was like really shocked. And a couple years ago, me and my father had got thrown out of the house. And we didn't have nowhere to stay.
You and your father?
Yes.
Why was your father thrown out?
Because he didn't have a job and he couldn't pay the rent.
And was your mother living with him?
No, my mother lived by herself.
Okay, so why weren't you with your mother?
My mom wanted me to stay with my dad because she couldn't keep me at where she was living.
Okay, who molested you?
My mom's sister's husband's brother.
Okay. And you moved in with your dad
Yes.
right after the molestation?
No, not really.
How long afterwards?
It was like 2 years after.
Okay. And your father lost his job and you were put out in the street?
Yes, and then my uncle offered us to live with him. And then after my father had seen one of his friends, and his friends had invited him to live with him, but I was still staying with my uncle. Then I came to live here with them, and I am still living here. My father's looking for work.
You're living right now with your uncle?
No, I'm living with another family.
Who's that family?
My dad's friend.
Oh, your dad's friend.
Yes.
Okay, so do you go to school?
Yes.
And you're with this family. What is it like living with this family?
It's kind of weird because I feel like I want my own house, and I want all kinds of things that they have that I can't have,
Like what?
like nice clothes and stuff.
Uh-huh. Who takes care of you?
Well, we all live in one house, and we stay together in bunches. And, like, I mostly hang around with my dad's friend's daughter.
Okay. But who, for instance, buys you clothes, buys you food?
My father.
Is he working?
No, he's on unemployment, so
Are you taken care of?
yes.
But you want more?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you need?
Like, I just want more than I have. It's hard to live with other people.
What does it feel like?
very weird. I just want my own house sometimes.
Do you see your mother at all?
What?
Do you ever see your mother?
Yeah, I see her like every other weekend, but I can't see her now because my grandfather's in the hospital, and she has to take care of him, and my grandmother, because nobody wants to pay for my grandfather's funeral when he dies.
Does your mother send you any money?
No, but she does give my dad money sometimes.
Do you ever ask her for things? Is she working?
Yes.
Do you ever ask her for things that you need?
Well, she works in the clothes department, so she gives me clothes when she knows that I need them.
Okay. And does she know that you need them now?
Yeah, she's been giving me little by little.
What sort of things do you get when you get them?
Like pants, socks, underclothes.
Okay, so it's the basic stuff, huh?
Yes.
What do you need right now?
A home.
I know. I know. More than anything, huh?
Yeah.
So what are your dad's chances?
Well, he's getting his own business, trying to get his own business in landscaping. He's working with one of the family's sons, but it ain't going very well now.
It's not, huh?
No.
In landscaping?
Yes.
Yeah. So does he work for someone else?
No.
What does he tell you about jobs?
Can you repeat that again?
What does he tell you about his job opportunities? What sort of things do you...
Well, he tells me, like, oh, I'm going to do this job, and I'm getting paid this much, and I get happy and stuff because he's saving money little by little on the bank so we could get our own house. And I get really excited, but it seems like it's never going to happen.
How long has it been since you've been without a house?
About 6 months.
Mm-hmm. And how often do you see your dad?
I live with him.
Oh, so you're all together in this house?
Yes.
Oh, so that's not as bad as you painted it.
No.
But at least you're living with your dad.
Yeah.
So you have family.
Well, yeah, sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Would you be talking about the breakup of your parents in some way? When you say you wish you had a home with the mother and dad in it?
Yeah.
So if you were in this situation and your mother was living with your father in this house, you wouldn't feel this way, would you?
No, not really. But
Yeah.
then I would, sort of, because they get in arguments and stuff, and then I'm in between, and
I understand.
it hurts me.
But if your mother and father were just having rough times and couldn't afford a place of their own and were living with this other family and were getting along, you wouldn't be calling me tonight, would you?
No.
No. Because people don't cry about being poor. They cry about being lonely. Isn't that what this is about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did your dad know this?
No, and it's hard for me to tell him.
Well,
that-
no, wait a second. What you need to talk to your dad about is your feelings. You see, he is feeling ashamed because of his not getting a job. But that's not what's bothering you. Oh, on the surface, it may be a little. But down deep, you're upset because you don't have a home.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that?
Yeah.
And all that a home is a place where you feel loved.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that you feel loved in a home is so you can talk about the things that bother you.
Yeah.
A home where you cannot talk about the things that bother you, even if it's a big mansion and you have servants and you have all these things and endless closets of clothes, doesn't feel full. But a house, no matter how humble it is, where people respect each other and love each other and let people talk about their feelings, is a place where you can feel comfortable. And what you have to do, because you're the one who needs to do this, because you're the one who called, you can make your whole life a lot better right now. What you need to do is you need to say to your dad, I need to tell you how I feel. I miss not having a home, a place where I have a mother and father taking care of me. It's not the money, and it's not so much the things I miss, but I miss having someone who's there to talk to me. And I need to talk to you. Does he spend much time with you?
Sort of, but he's been mostly spending time looking for jobs and having his girlfriend take him places because he don't have a car right now.
Okay. Where does she live?
In Los Angeles.
No, does she live in the same place?
No.
How do you get along with her?
I get along good with her.
I would always try to get along with her.
Yeah.
That's, you know, that's being politically correct. I mean, you want to make it easy for everybody to live together.
Yeah.
Does she work?
Yeah.
Are they thinking of getting together?
They're thinking of moving into a house together. They're both saving money, and all they have saved up in the bank is $300 right now.
What do they need?
Well, my dad says, and he gets his money from taxes. He's gonna put it in the bank and try to save money to get a good house and all the supplies we need.
Okay, but the main thing is what he can give you now that you're not getting, and that's the understanding, someone to talk to, and someone to be there for you when you need to talk about the hurt that you're having. You've got to tell him about your feelings, and tell him that you need to just talk about them. You don't want him to shell out any more money. You just want him to give you a little more time so that you can know that you have a place to go with your feelings.
Mm-hmm. Most of my family have offered me their homes, but I just want to stick with one of my parents.
I understand, and that's probably correct. So that you are doing the right thing, but you've got to get your dad to talk to you about what it is you're feeling. If you can do that, Rena, you're going to feel a lot better. Because what you're missing mostly is the intimacy of a family, more than the roof over your head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Give me a call back.
Okay. Were you up in Upland at a meeting of a church?
Sure.
Yeah, because somebody asked me to ask you.
Okay. It's interesting you know about that. Is school going good?
Yeah.
Put your energy in school. That's your job, you know.
Okay.
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 Take care, and call me back.
Okay.
This city is full of a lot of little tragedies and sadnesses that none of us are aware of. They don't make the papers, but they do tear at our hearts. And we're just not taking care of our own in these times. A lot of people are slipping through the cracks. Maybe it's time we heard what people really need. We'll be right back. Whether you're watching this in a dormitory room at UCLA, or whether you're with a bunch of gay friends sitting around, or whether you're a bunch of couples looking around, you know, the whole city is united by the problems that we see together. And the whole world is just a hair apart from a tragedy. Think of it, we're all one phone call distant from almost all of the problems that you hear on this program. We're all vulnerable. We're all the same. Who's up?
Okay, David, we have Paul on line 8, and we've talked to him before. He's an ex-police officer, and now he's back on the force.
Paul.
Hello.
I remember that voice.
Yes.
You were so angry. Wait a second. This was, what, 8 months ago?
Yes, sir.
8 months ago. Let me just think. Paul. You were afraid of ripping people out of cars and pummeling them in a law outside of a 7-Eleven.
That's correct.
Okay, I remember you. Go ahead.
Well, I think your advice was for me to, move away, get away from the streets, and I couldn't. I mean, I missed the streets. I know that sounds odd.
No, it doesn't.
But I missed being a cop. And I thought also that it would help me control...
Facing the beast?
Excuse me?
Facing the beast.
Yeah. It would help me control my temper. It would help me control the violent outburst, if you will.
You went back?
Yes, sir.
What's happened?
I've become more violent than before. And even though the streets, it does things to you. I mean, you feel that you can make a difference out there, but you see so much death and a heartache, and I don't know, you think you can make a difference, but yet you don't. But yet it's like a drug for me.
How? What is it that you're pulled to?
I don't know. Sometimes I think it's because I can be violent and I can get away with it. Sometimes I think it's because I do care and I try to help people.
You can be violent and get away with it.
Yes, sir.
Expound on that, please.
Well, I responded to a 415 family not too long ago,
What is that?
the family disturbance.
Okay.
And this individual got in my face, and I hurt him. And I thought I might be terminated for it. I wasn't.
You were open about reporting it?
Excuse me?
You were open about reporting it?
Yes, I mean, it was clear,
Okay.
because I had to make a report because this individual was injured.
And you denied nothing?
I told him that I injured him. I told him that it was in self-defense.
Was it?
No.
Okay. Go ahead.
And after that, it was almost as if, I mean, I felt really good about it. I mean, this guy was a scumbag. He had just beaten a woman. And I felt like I had done something right. You know, it's like finding a child molester and just putting a bullet in him, putting him away. The system ain't going to take care of him. So, you know, I believe sometimes I can help because the system does nothing.
But you're putting yourself in the position of the jury
Yes, I am.
and of executioner, prisoner, and jailer.
Yes. And finally, I went to one of many homicides, and I found a young 12-year-old boy lying in an alley. He had been repeatedly stabbed. And we found the suspects who did it, and they were all from ages from, well, I'd say 12 to 16 years of age. And they had smiles on their face, as if they had just killed a turkey for Thanksgiving. And I remember looking down at this boy, and I had already found out from his screaming grandmother that he was from New Mexico. He'd never been in a gang in his life, but he looked like it to them. And they had smiles on their faces. This one had a smirk. They didn't care about going to jail because they knew they'd be out in a few. And the hatred was so powerful that I almost lost it. Watching this young man die, I've seen a lot of death, but this one really hit me hard. And I realized then that maybe that's why I'm calling you tonight, that I am really close. And I just don't know what to do. I mean,
What stopped you?
a couple of my partners.
Oh, you were ready to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Did you remove your weapon?
I unsnapped it.
And the response on their face when you did that?
Their smile went away.
And the sense that went over you as that happened?
Wasn't enough.
You wanted?
I wanted to put them away. I mean, I just wanted to dump them. I knew that they were,
Was your hand on your weapon?
yes,
Were you drawing it?
no.
Were you about to?
If his face wouldn't have cleared from that smile, I would have dumped him. Because I kept looking at him, and he had just, the victim had just took his last breath. And I was standing in his blood. And it didn't matter anymore. I mean, I love my family. I don't want to be on their side, but it almost didn't, nothing mattered. Just his face.
Okay. At what point did you decide to call me again?
It was after that incident.
Okay. At what moment did the thought cross your mind, I've got to call Dr. Viscott?
A couple days later, I knew that I was beyond, almost out of control.
When did that thought occur to you? In what circumstance?
Getting back in my unit after briefing and going out into the streets, knowing that I felt like I was out for my prey, wanting something to go wrong, wanting some scumbag to maybe to rape some woman, or to catch some dirtball in the act of a crime and just dump him, get it over with, kind of help out the justice system. And I knew that that's not reality.
But it's become your reality.
Yes.
And therefore, it's become our reality.
Yes.
Okay. Isn't that the sad part? Because the truth is, it's making you into a killer. And when you become the thing you hate, how do you stop yourself?
I don't know.
That's the scary part. How do you tell the difference? That you have a better reason?
That's it. I mean, I know what my objectives are. I mean, I know what I want to do.
Well, you want to rid the world of scum.
Yes.
But this is the hard part. There's a scum part of yourself that's getting stirred up. That's what's killing you.
How do you mean?
Well, the desire to do that and to give into it is also giving into the same force that they gave into to commit the crime, albeit from another reason.
But isn't my reason more valid?
Are you to be the judge of that too?
I think we all are. I think it's become in law enforcement, it has become an 8-hour-a-day job, or 10, or whatever the OT is. It has become numb. Officers look down at a child laying there, with pieces of him gone because the old man was drunk, or a boy stabbed or shot to death. Oh well. And it's getting to the point where the justice system doesn't care anymore.
What if the boy who was smirking and laughing at you was someone who had never killed anyone and pretended during this melee to be one of the perpetrators just so he wouldn't be stabbed by the other members of the gang?
Well, I could tell he was a perp just because he had blood all over him.
Maybe he purposely put it. Maybe he was clever enough to hide it by getting himself covered with it to show that he was one of them.
Well, I believe, though, that birds of a feather flock together.
But I've spoken to young boys who are in gangs who have done nothing, who have faked the crimes that they've been accused of just to keep from being beaten up, who don't know how to get out of it. I mean, those kids exist as well. You can't deny it. I mean, I've spoken to them.
That's true, but it could also get them killed in many different ways.
That's right, but is it for you to be the one who extinguishes that hope in another person because you read them wrong?
No.
You see, you're doing something that is so wrong that it's causing you to doubt your own goodness.
That's not what I took the job for, you're right.
That's right. And you should quit. It's time. You're ready to go. And the truth is that you'll do 20 years. Because you're going to do it in a time where people are very hostile to police action, where the Rodney King trial is going to show a lot of people on the force having taken on a new responsibility to stand up. And there'll be people like the person who restrained you the other night saying, I knew he was ready to go, And they'll say, why didn't you do something about it? It's time to take yourself out of the streets. The truth is, you can't manage it anymore.
It's funny how people look at a situation like the Rodney King. They look at him as the only victim.
Oh,
But
we're all victims.
Every officer there has had so many people like him get in his face, evading arrest, and a little bit of provoking. It's not right, but it can set you off.
Right, but why should you be the next one?
I don't want to be.
Then you have to quit. Take yourself out. You need a leave of absence. You need to do it now.
How do you do it?
You stop. You say you need a leave of absence. It's all getting to you. You're afraid you're going to go off. Now,
You can't tell your superiors that. They think you're going 5150 and you're gone.
but the truth is, maybe you have. That's what you're calling about. 5150 is not fit, right?
Crazy.
Yeah. But when you're ready to kill, at the drop of a leaf, as a soldier on the front lines waiting for the enemy will see a leaf fall and turn around and fire 10 shots with his automatic weapon into it.
I don't know. Like I said, I've been kicking it around in my head. I want to get into something else, and I had the opportunity.
Maybe you should be the one who starts the organization for police officers who have no other place to turn to, who cannot go to their supervisors, who need counseling, who need someone to talk to. It's almost like being Police Officers Anonymous, if you know what I mean.
Oh, and there's a few. There's a few that
I know.
feel just like I do.
I know.
Because the system is getting so worse than it was years ago, as far as keeping the bad guy where he's supposed to be, that there's a lot of cops trying to do it themselves.
But doesn't that mean that the bad guy role has just switched?
Not necessarily. I mean, I don't feel that way. I feel that...
I know, but the law has something to say about that.
But the law has to do its job. If it doesn't, if it keeps letting children be hurt, women raped, and look at it as, well, you know...
But what you're doing is making the law seem tougher, not more just. And that is not a way to change it or to get sympathy.
Don't you think that would send a message to the bad guy? A few of them get dumped and maybe they get the message.
This isn't a Charles Bronson movie. This is your life, pal. And you know what? You're calling because you need permission to quit tonight. Paul, I told you 8 months ago. Your time has come round at last. Next time you'll be on the other side of the docket, and your friends will be testifying against you. Don't make it happen. We'll be right back. David Viscott. Night Talk here. Scary, huh? That's what we live in, a scary world. And what we need to do to put some light in this is to talk about it and to share it so that we're not alone in this.
He seemed to think that he could maybe be rehabbed or whatnot. What do you think about that?
He has to be taken away from it, period.
Removed. Okay. We have Mackay on line A, and he has a serious lover but prefers casual sex.
Mackay?
Yes,
How old are you, Mackay?
I'm 24.
Okay, what's the story?
Well, I've been in this relationship with this man for about 8 months, and it's probably the best relationship that I've ever had in my entire life, and I just seem to be doing things to screw it up left and right.
Like what?
Well, namely, like I said, I have slept with anonymous strangers as opposed to sleeping with him. I've lied to him. I've done things that I knew that I shouldn't have done that I would get caught for. And I don't know, I love him, and I just do things to hurt him all the time.
So, what are you trying to do?
Figure out why I'm doing it.
Well, that's what I'm trying to ask. Why would you be doing a thing like that? Why would you, let me put it this way, why would you be putting yourself in a situation, in a relationship that involves closeness, that keeps you from getting close? What are you afraid of?
One, getting close.
Yeah, but why? Who hurt you before?
Well, well, there's a lot of kids who come from divorced families, and naturally, that affected me. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 10, but when I was 15, I was raped, and I really didn't feel capable of having relationships after that.
Okay.
But this man has never done anything to hurt me.
This man has never done anything to hurt you?
The one that I'm with.
I understand. What did you do with the feelings over the rape?
Well, I ended up going to jail for the rape because I ended up killing the perpetrator, and I got a lot of therapy through it. But I just have, I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Okay, you killed the other person?
The person who raped me, yes.
Okay, how old was the other person?
He was 42.
And how did you kill him?
I shot him with the gun that he raped me with.
And why did you go to jail?
Because they malicious intent. It was they had.
You
charged
fired
me
many shots.
3.
When one would have done it, right?
One would have done it. He was still on top of me when I killed him. But sometimes I think that the reason I don't want that I do things to hurt him is because I'm afraid of him hurting me first or him leaving me like my dad left.
Well, that's the whole thing. You're trying to stay in control of a relationship you feel out of control of, essentially.
Dr. Viscott, why can I sleep with total strangers and not with him?
Because there's no sense of involvement. There's no intimacy. But also, there's an enormous risk, right?
Well, yeah. Like I explained on the phone, I'm HIV positive.
So what you're doing is you're killing other people.
Well, I'm practicing safe sex with other people. With him, we didn't. We just had sex.
You love him. You're HIV positive, and that means to have sex with him.
He's HIV positive as well.
Okay, but you can still reinfect and superinfect.
Yeah, I know. I realize that.
What? What are you going through right now? You just hit a wall.
It's just.
Go through the wall.
Sometimes I think all I do is hurt him, and I just wonder. You were talking earlier to a woman who was taking it out on her boyfriend because of what her mother did. Sometimes I feel like I'm angry at him, and he's done nothing wrong, and all I do is hurt him.
Well, he's the first man you've been able to be intimate with. Your father abandoned you. You were raped. You killed the rapist. This safe sex, this promiscuous sex has got to stop. I mean, that's destroying you.
I know.
All right. Why are you doing that?
I'm looking for the intimacy in the sex, but it's just safe because it's over when it's over. I can control it.
But you can't.
No.
No. So, how many men have you had sex with, would you say?
Well,
since you've known you've been HIV positive?
Since I found out that I was HIV positive?
Yeah.
About 30 or 40.
Did they know?
Yes. Most of them were also HIV positive. Since I've been with my lover, I've only been with 3 other men.
Uh-huh. Not a good situation, huh?
No.
What do you want? What kind of health are you in?
What kind of what?
Health.
I want good health. I've been asymptomatic for the last 3 years, no symptoms. My T-cell count's a little low because I don't eat my vegetables, but...
What is your T-cell?
My T-cell count is 163.
That is low.
Yeah, under 200 is an AIDS diagnosis with a symptom, but I don't have any symptoms.
Okay. And your partner?
I believe his is around 200 or lower. He's had pneumocystis pneumonia a few times.
So he has AIDS?
Yeah, he actually has AIDS. I lost a lover to AIDS a few years ago.
I was
as well.
about to say, because my next association is maybe you're afraid of getting close because you don't want to lose him. Someone that you're that invested in.
I don't think I could go through it again.
You're going to go through it again. What you're going through is pretending that you're not that involved. That's what this is about. Hello?
I'm here. You're probably right, because when I sleep, the guys that I've slept with in the last 8 months weren't HIV positive, and there was a certain safeness about being with somebody who couldn't do that.
Who couldn't die.
Who couldn't die.
That's what this is about. You're with someone who's dying.
I just can't deal with that again. Once is enough in one lifetime.
But, my friend, so is your lover.
True.
I mean, you have to be honest and look at it. And what your life has for you at this point, I cannot say. But certainly, the good and the love in it can go a long way to making up for a lot of the emptiness and the sadness that you're going to feel. You're going to mourn this man anyhow when he dies. But why mourn not having been close to him when that was just a matter of choice?
Sometimes I let him get close to me, and then it's like I realize what I've done, and I do something to shove him away.
Why don't you tell him you're afraid of him dying, and that's what's been keeping you away? Why don't you tell the ultimate truth? Because in truth, he's going to say something similar about you. I'm sorry you're going through such pain, but that's how it is sometimes. And to be honest about it is probably the only thing you can do.
It's an awful lot of tragedy in one lifetime.
So many people have so much tragedy in their life, we just don't know about it.
Okay, let's take Karen. She's on.
We're not going to be able to. We're done.
This is it?
This
My
is it.
gosh.
Yeah.
It's gone by so quickly.
You know, that whole thing about tragedy, let me tell you something. I remember medical school, I had a pathologist who once said, when a person dies and they examine his body in autopsy, the question is not how he died, but how he could have stayed alive with so much wrong with him. And so many lives have so much pain and so much suffering. I think it's good to get your life in perspective, to understand how you fit in with the rest of the world, and to do those things about being honest about your feelings to lower the pain so you can make your contribution. Good night. We'll see you next week.
You may wish to contact the Viscott Center at 1-800-426-4432. The center is open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Private consultation is available for a fee.